To set up a Sanity within our project, we need to go and focus one package here. Let's just go in npmjs.com. Here we'll search for the package which will be like Next Sanity. Now there is so many other properties. You feel free to go there, sanity.io. If you just go over here and just look over there to sanity.io, you're gonna have a proper understanding what is Sanity and how it works. You see, make content your competitive advantage, expect more from your CMS, create content as data actionable, scalable, and ready to drive your business forward with Sanity content operating system. Now here you can see how you can do npm create Sanity at latest, by which you can create Sanity within your application layer. And now it's not about only you can take it with the Next.js, you can import or flexible with any other platform. And I see they have lots of people who are helping them to build. So now those are the things how it's work, and especially it just go with the grok query. And don't worry about that, I will just focus to go each and every single compartment on how you can focus and build those parameters. So now as you see, with the start learning you can have a very better overview and understanding. But right now, as I'm logged in, I'll just go to view my manage projects section, and here you can see the overall projects which is created here. Right now from here you can create a project manually, but what you're gonna do, you're gonna use that package which is the Next-Sanity. Now, what is Next Sanity? The all-in-one Sanity toolkit for production-grade content editable Next.js applications. And a Sanity, you can see the features here, especially the Sanity client for queries and mutations, visual editing for interactive live preview of a draft content, embedded Sanity Studio, grok query, and portable text. All of this we're gonna use it, and I'm gonna let you know how you can configure within your application. And as you see the table of contents, I will just let you go with the quick start. There is a lot of other functionality by which you can start. I'll go with quick start as we build our application earlier. Now a simple configuration, the manual installation, npx create next app at latest. That's for creating our application, that's for the manual. Don't fall for it, just check here, quick installation, right? The quick start need to be go here, npx sanity at latest init. I'm gonna copy this one, and after copying, let's just go within our code editor, and the second terminal I'm gonna just clear everything from here, and I'm gonna paste this one. Right now as you see, after is done, it's gonna create one Sanity folder here, the new structure. Now I want you to focus overall here because we're gonna change our project structure, the old structure scenario, because we need to create a client side application which the client only can get access, and then we're gonna create our studio which the admin can access. So we're gonna separate both compartment, right? So first we're gonna install it, and then init, enter. So now what it's gonna do, it's gonna create. Now remember, you can create manually if you want it to, right? What I'm saying, you grab it manually, then you need to get the project IT and production layer, but we're not going to do manually. We're gonna go and create that from this interactivity, like with that Next Sanity project. So now, yes, I want to, okay, let's proceed. And after proceeding, it will just take a bit of time. So grab your copy and sit tight because you need to go to configure so many setup while it's installing. Okay, now installation process is done. As you see there, how it's going to start. It's already installed the Sanity at 3.67.1. Now after proceeding, so as you see which one I logged in, is can grab my account. Then from here I can go with other projects, but right now I'll go with create a new project, and I'm going to provide the name which will be Toulouse YT for YouTube, or I'm going to make -YT. Okay, enter. And after providing the project name, as you see the default configuration, that will be perfect. And now what we're gonna create, we're gonna grab some of the data set from them, right, to project a new one. And also, would you like to add configuration files for a Sanity project in the Next.js folder? Okay, fine, that will be perfect. And yes, we want to use the TypeScript. And would you like an embedded Sanity Studio? That one I need to manually do it. Why? Because we're gonna want that studio, and that could be Forceless Studio. Now you can change the name if you want it to, right? I'm gonna just go with the default one. Right now we can go with a clean project with no predefined schema types. That's actually good if you can go, but I will focus to go with the blog schema so that you can have a better understanding how that things is working. And also let it generate. Later on we're gonna ship that to our env file. So now it gonna go, as you see, it's running that npm install -dash legacy dash pair dash dependency. So that's the one is running because we're using Next.js 19. If you go back in the package, you can see we're I think we are grabbing that 19 right now. Yes, you see the Next.js 19. That's why you need to go with the legacy path dependency, because some conflict can be raised over there. So it's maintaining by itself. Again, now it's gonna install all of those properties. As you see, it's gonna install that Sanity Vision, Sanity image URL, style components. So feel free to wait a bit. And also it's gonna add that course 3000. Localhost 3000 to the course origins. And if you just go back here, if I just go directly on this premises and I reload on that, we should be able to see one application is created already. I believe so. Yeah, you see the Toulouse YT is created, which I am having my project ID and everything is configured by itself. So as you see, from that command line we created that perspective. And while it's installing the other scenario, we can also explore what the things it had done. Now if you go in the app, before exploring the app, you can see in the root layer it's added sanity.config.ts file, which the Sanity Studio configuration is just configured right here. We have that sanity.cli.ts, which maintaining the CLI command. And after that we're gonna have also one .env.local. I want you to copy those entire things and we're gonna just pass that in our .env file. And how we can do that, it's pretty simple. I'm gonna just copy that and let's go here. I think if we just go, I'm gonna just paste it here. Okay, so that's, I'm just passing that in my env file. Okay, so later on we will remove that once it's not needed. Now after that, in our app, I think, yeah, in the root layer, as you see, we have one folder called Sanity, and here we can see our structure layer. The way it is structured, we have .env file, we have our schema types all over the schema types, and no worries about it. We need to write our own schema types. That time we're gonna just configure and see how it's just going out, how it's just rendering. The most important in the schema types is that index file, which is important because by which our entire file conventions is going to generate what kind of things we want to implement. Then we have that env.ts, which projected all the environment variables for the Sanity. We have the structure, how the structure going to be localized, and then we have one leave. This is one of the most important because see the client. With that client, we can fetch the data. We're going to use the query by using that client, and we're going to use that URL to generate our image, to showcase the image. We're going to use it so more and often. Then we're going to create our application in the live version using that live setup. And now if you just look at in our app, you're going to see something happened here, which is the studio. Here, as you see in the page, we have one studio setup, which is really remarkable, and we can see how the studio can generate. So right now we have our studio. So if we just go in our previous application in localhost 3000, I'm going to go /studio, and now it will render our studio. As you see, if we just look at the bottom, it's compiling the studio, so means it's just going to get our studio back to in the so let's just give it a time to reload, because the first time, the very beginning, it will take a bit of time. Okay, now we are having some complication with the Clark, because as you see, we are handling everything from the root, right? So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just make some quick setup by enabling these things to go and inlay others in around it. So what I'm gonna do here, as you see in there, I'm gonna take another directory which will be coming with the first bracket, and I'm gonna mark it as client. So that will be my entire client side library. So I'm gonna just go to grab the folder structure. So now from here, as you see in my app, I am having that client. I'm gonna take that cart and I'm gonna take that orders and also that layout and that page, right? These three things, this I think four things, I'm gonna ship that within my client. Okay, so as you see right now, in that root layer, I have my studio, I have my Fabi icon, I have my globals to CSS, and also I think the Fabi icon, I'm gonna leave it like here. Yeah, I think it will, yeah, that make a lot of sense. So right now, if we just go and check over here, we're gonna find some error is running here. If we just go and I'm gonna just go in my localhost 3000, of course, there should be error. So you're gonna fix that in a very short time. So in that layout, that should be one layer of down here. So we'll go make an upper layer, save. So it should be okay. It's working. That's coming here. And now also we need to render one more properties. As you see, that's the client, right? So the first bracket it gonna ignore. Okay, so our client is working perfectly. So now for the studio, as you see, we have our page, but this studio, as now we have no layout at the middle. So we need to create a layout over here. So I'm going to take a new file, which will be layout.tsx, RAFCE. We're going to just simply like that root layout, or you can say studio layout. That's up to you. Okay. So we're going to just keep that as root layout. And here we're going to pass some of that. Like, remember, we have the children in the layout, and that children should be the children of should be children react node, and we're gonna render. So instead of the div, we're gonna grab it with HTML formation, and here within the body we're gonna just pass our entire children properties, and the language should be English. Done. And also we can export some metadata if you're willing to. You see, you can just make e-commerce backend and just pass that. Let's see if it's working or not. So if we this time, if we try to go back to our studio, I think that will not collapse by so far, because the root layout which we created, that's this layout, like remember the client layout which is accessing the Clark provider, but the especially for like the Sanity is handling its own provider. So I think that can be causing the collapse. So now as you see, now we can go with the Google, because now it has its own setup and I need to choose my own account. Be careful once you choose a different account, it may not be giving you the proper data or proper access. So you need to be careful on that. So now as you see, we have our structure ready. We have the post, we have the categories, we have the authors, blah, blah, blah. Everything is working perfectly fine. Now here, we don't want it to be a block, right? We will just manipulate some of that. Then we're going to start building our setup. Now this env file not required because we're accessing our env from there. And now on that Sanity, on that structure, as you see, that's written, here is the block. So we can just make that, let's say Toulouse backend, BACEND. Okay, Toulouse backend. And after doing it, gonna reload the entire properties, and then we supposed to get change that Toulouse backend should work. And let's see how it's just providing the data. Okay. Yeah. It just come here to Toulouse backend. Now we no need to get the post, we no need to get the authors, we only need the categories. So you're gonna keep the categories from here. So what I'm gonna do, as you see, that's coming here, I will not pass that. I'm gonna just keep the categories. I'm gonna remove those entire property things. As you see, I will just remove by and then remove it. So we should be having only the category layer, and also in the schema type on the index properties, we're gonna remove that. I think the author type and the post type not required, and also for this, for right now also we are not going to use the block content as we are going to generate the content by ourselves. So we can remove that so far. Hit save. That should remove our entire other parameter, which is supposed not to be here, but it was here. Okay, let's see how it's just going to render. Okay, structure. Okay, we have only categories. So now we can add categories from there. So as we are having that, what I'm gonna do, remember the blog content, we know we not require right now. The author is not require, and also that post types, which is not require. We are just going to reading that category type and also that index. So right now what I'm gonna do, okay, the icon, why, what's wrong with the icon? I think it's nothing wrong here. I'm just gonna reload my window. Sometimes it can cause the problem on your just machine getting a little bit hard time. Just need to reload a bit so that it will just come in point. So now here in the category, I think for the category type, let's just see what kind of type we have. We can add a category. Okay, what is saying? There is AI right now. Okay, cool. I think I'm going to reload it. I don't want it to just to be seen here. And also with another parameter, I'm going to open my localhost. So both it going to work properly side by side. Okay. So now we will try to add a category so that we're going to see how it can render. As you see in the category, we have the title, we have the slug, we have the description, but we doesn't have the image properties, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab the image properties. So we have, I don't know why this icon is just providing the problem. That's the icon which we use, the tag icon. What is saying here? Forward ref component omit property icon. Okay, anyway, we'll just ignore it right now. Later on we'll see if this is still persisting. So now we need to pass the image, which should be, let's say, to define a field, we need to pass that parameter define field. Here we're going to pass the name, which will be the image. With that key we can grab that one. Then we will be having a title, which is going to pass that category image. And after that we will make that type, which will be an image. And after that we will also pass the options by which we can make to pass that hotspot, and we're gonna make that as true. And I'll let you know how the hotspot working later on. So after that also we want to have a preview, and how it going to work if we just focus to our previous application, and if we just go in our studio. Okay, so within that studio we're gonna know how the things can render and how the things it can work. It's very simple, and we'll explain each and everything. And also one more things I want to just focus with you people, as that to grabbing that property. So many people you are asking where I can get that image and others. You just copy, you just click on the left side on it. You can open image you can open image in a new tab. Okay, it's automatically downloading. Okay, that's not logical. So here I want to open image in a new tab. Okay, let's see. It's just grabbing, downloading. Okay, that's the one. So you can just grab it by downloading this one, that image, then you can use it. There is no copyright material, so you can easily access that one. So now here, as you see in that our e-commerce admin, we have our categories, and in the categories you can see the feature categories, like the feature items, and the Slack feature, the entire things is right here. So we can just go and grab on categories, right? We'll just go and copy this one. So the categories which going to have a title. So okay, this our Toulouse, what's happened? Okay, that's the title for our category. And after the title we will also put the Slack should be coming automatically. We're going to generate like that, and then we're going to pass a description. It will be just some dummy text one, which is the lorem ipsum. And after that we need to also pass an image, so we can grab any image we want. So right now, as we downloaded some image, so I'm going to grab the similar image. As you see, I think that should be the image. So let's go, and I will just grab it. So now we can pass that image right here. So I will just go from the downloads, just grab that image, and it will automatically upload. That's how simple to grab an image. So no worries about the content, just grab that link and get whatever you require from here. Okay, so now we will publish. After publishing, we should be able to grab our categories. So all the categories, it will be just applied here, and you can grab it like so far. So right now, as you see, it's only deploying that feature and that name, but if you just see here, as you see, after feature it also passing that the title. So we need to configure that one. And how we can configure, as you see here, we can create a preview. So that preview will forecast how we can see, show the preview to our customer. So in the title, it should be our title, and on the preview we will also take the subtitle. So subtitle should be taking our description, and then the media, which going to be the image parameter, and gonna take back our image. So this time we should be able to see our image, title, then the subtitle all together. It's gonna make a combo to combine the parameter. So right now you're gonna see that. So just wait a while, it will render. So that's, as you see, okay, cool, we have that. So we can now grab another one. So there is the man, so I'm going to choose that one, and similarly we can just create like that. So grab a new one and title, and after that the slag, which will automatically render. I'm going to just copy this portion and the slag, passing that, and for there I'm going to just take this one, enter. And after uploading the image, you just need to publish it, and that will be within that category layer. Okay, now we are having the categories and we know how we can configure the categories, right? But what about our product? If we just see here, as you see, we have our entire product section here by which we can showcase the product within our website. As you see, the product is coming right here. That product is automatically rendered from these products. So how we can grab these products, and to get the products here, first we need to grab our the schema, right? So here, after the category schema, which we have already created, we need to create another schema. We're going to provide a name for that schema. Let's say it will be product schema, or the product type should be product type dot ts, right? And to define the schema, how we're going to start, I'm going to close others, and here we're going to start building that page. So how it's going to start? First, we will make that export const product type, and what I'm focusing you, try to see it properly because I'm going to be slow and I will let you understand each and everything. If you have any queries, let me know in the comments so I can reach you out and help if you're having facing any issue or having any problem. So from here I will take the parameter which will be defined query or defined type, by which need to import from the Sanity, and that's going to be taken as a function, and by which we're going to pass everything as an object. So the first name, which will be getting the name by which we'll call the product. So the name, we're going to keep it as product. The title, which going to be passing as the product, which need to be showcased once we are uploading the title or others. And the type, it will be type as a document type. Okay, and after the type, we will also pass the validation. I think, yeah, not the validation. First it's gonna be icon, which will be trolley icon. Okay, and after passing the icon, we also need to get the fields, and that fields will be an array, and within that array we can inject multiple fields. So now here this error actually combining, I don't know why it's coming right now. Okay, I'm gonna let that error persisting because it's the new for me. I didn't find it before. Let it be, because it's just passing an error. I think for the type error we can figure it later. So now in that fields we can define multiple fields parameter, right? So first field, it should be let's say in the fields it will not be as an object. We need to pass everything as a defined field. Should be defined fields, and in that defined field parameter we need to pass everything as a function. Within that it will pass an object. So first we're gonna pass the name, should be the name, the product name, it will be there. Then the title, by which we can know what kind of things we want to pass, that should be product name. And after that we also pass the type, which will be a type as in string. And now we will pass the validation properties, by which we will know that product name should be required, and we'll set a rule on that. So the rule, it will be, let's say, rule dot required. So the product name should be required whenever we are going to upload any of that product, right? And after passing the product name, we need to define another field, and that field is which going to generate our slug. Remember, previously on the category, slug is generating automatically. So we're going to pass a name which is going to be the slug by which we can grab that things, and then it will be the title which will be slug. And after that, pass a type which also would be a slug, and then we're gonna pass an options for the slug, because we don't the source, like from where the slug should be. Remember, we have our product name, so that should be equal to our source for our slug. And also we're gonna pass the max length. So the max length, I'm gonna just pass that as 96 characters, and every properties, like every parameter slug validation, it should be the slug is required. Without slug, you cannot upload any of that product. And after slug, we will have so many other parameter. Now in the define field is the time for images. But previously we are used to upload one image, and now in our previous video, so many people were expecting to have a more than one images, so that we have created this design. If you click on that, you see at the bottom there is multiple images. It's just a showcasing. So that's how we're gonna combine an array of images. Now for the name, we're gonna pass the name of images as the multiple images going to be rendered here, and the title should be our, let's say, product images. And on that images, the type which going to be an array. And after that, we will also like the type, which type it will be. We're going to pass the type, and the type it will be an image. And of course we can pass the value as an options, particularly for all the images. And we're going to make that hotspot, let's say, I think it should work. We are passing the options, and here let's say hotspot should be, let's say, true. If it's required, we're gonna see. So now we have our images, and after images we are going to render so many other properties here, which are going to be, let's say, now it's not that much important, because the two things which only going to be defined two parameter, which if I just go and see, one is going to be named as an intro, which the title should be the product intro, and the type is a string. And we are taking the description, not that content value, but as a title of as a type of a string, by which we're gonna render it in a very simple way. And after that, we're gonna type another defined field, which is one of the important one, and that now the intro and description is not mandatory. So the first thing, the name, which going to be passing the price, and also the title should be, let's say, product price. And after that, we will pass the type, and the price type, it should be as a number. And also you're going to pass the validation, which will force us to pass the rule, and the rule should be required. So that's how we're gonna combine that one. And after the price, the same thing is going to be as a discount. So we can just copy that, we can just paste one more time. Instead of price, that should be our discount, and here we can pass that as discount price. Okay, and that one also going to be as a number. Okay, so after that, we will also define our categories. Now remember, we having the categories, which is an array, and where we're gonna pass the other category tile. So the define field parameter, we're gonna pass that name, which will be as a categories, and it can be assigned for the multiple categories. And the title, which going to be, let's say, categories, and also the type, which going to be as an array. And after that, what we're gonna render is that we need to define from which type it gonna render. So the type should be a reference. So the type, it would be reference, and the reference, we also need to focus to have two properties, and the type should be a category. So the category type should be rendered right here. Now the category is not mandatory, either a product can have a category or not, that's up to it. Now after that, another defined field properties. So in that properties, we're gonna pass that name, which will be stock. So we will maintain the product stock, and then the title also it will render as a stock property, and the type should be as a number. And after we're gonna pass the the validation rule. So right now we want that product that should be a required properties, because we want to see if that products now the required minimum should be the 0. We need to pass any of the value here. You cannot go without the value property. And after that, as you see, if we just go back here from this proportion here, you can see the product status is new, hot, or sell. So it's a drop down menu which we need to create. And how we can create that one, what is here? Expected an argument but got 0. Okay, not rule dot minimum, not the require, so the minimum should be 0. Now after that we will define another field, and here we will define that drop down. So the name should be, let's say, status, and on that status the title should be, let's say, product status, and on that options parameter we're gonna define, we're gonna pass a list. On that list, which will be an array, there we're gonna pass the title. First title, we're gonna pass a new title, and the value we're gonna pass as a new value. So that will be the first one. So there will be a multiple options align. What's wrong here? Oh, we need to define the type. The type, which will be as a string type. So st, let's say array. And after that I'm gonna copy it 2 times more. So let's here 1 2. Okay. Okay, I forget to pass the comma here. Okay, now one would be new, another should be, let's say, hot, and the value we're gonna pass just simply as hot. And the last one value should be a sell product, and we're gonna pass that the value as, let's say, sell. And after that we also need to pass the product type. If you just showcase here, as you see, we have multiple product type here, so that's variance also we need to create. So here we will make that define field parameter one more, and here the name should be a product variant, variant, and also the title should be, let's say, product type, or you can say the variant, is up to you, and the type should be, let's say, string. And after string we're gonna pass the options, and in the options, remember how we do it, we will pass the list item. So in the options it should not be an array in object, and in the list it should be an array. Here we're gonna pass the object which we are requiring right now, and we're gonna pass a list of object which gonna render our items, and that could be, one should be the title, which should be t-shirt, and the value should be t-shirt. Jacket. Remember how we're going to render this. As you see right here, if we just go back, the categories, this categories actually is coming from there. So that will be where we're going to maximize those things just to get and filter the properties. Now if we just go back here, you see we are having almost all the properties. Now we need to create a preview like before, and we can just pass it the way it's supposed to be in a very easy shot. And how we can do that, to make that one in a proper way, first we're gonna create a preview, and on that preview it will be an object. So we're gonna pass the select value, which will be also an object. First we're gonna pass the title, which will be name, and then the media which going to be passing our images, and then we're gonna pass the subtitle, and the subtitle should be our price. Okay, so the price we're gonna keep as subtitle. Now we create the select value. Now we need to prepare our media, and here we will take everything as a selection, and from the selection we're gonna pass how we want to render things. So we're gonna grab the title, and also the, let's say, we're gonna make equal to our selection. So we can now grab everything, should be title, subtitle, media, and after getting there also we can pass the image, should be media, and as media we will need to grab the one value, not as, should be the nn. Just let's spell that. And from there, return value, we need to return that properties. The title should be, let's say the title, it will be the title, and also the subtitle, we're gonna pass that with that, let's say we're gonna pass the subtitle, but we want to add a $sign, so you're gonna go in backtick, and here with the dollar, we're gonna pass that subtitle, and after subtitle on the media, it should be our image. So right now we have everything done to create this property, like our product ratio. So all the setup is done. Now how we can link that, right? So we need to link up, and again, ignore that error. We're gonna fix that later on. So now how we can set that one to our application layer. So remember, it's pretty simple. Index.ts file, and here we're gonna call that should be our, let's say it will be product type, and save it. And after saving, like applying the product type, as you see, it's reloading. So supposed to be that things should work, and we should be able to render our own product by which we can grab the product scenario. And I believe we can see it right now. As you see, we have our product component ready. If we just click, we should be able to get the view where we can upload the product. So right now, let's see, we're gonna upload this one, right? And we can check it here. So that's the product here. So I'm gonna just grab that copy paste properties, copy the name, and here if we paste, as you see the name is coming, we can generate this like that. And right now we can check the images. We can upload multiple images. Now we can upload the first images like that, then we can go the second images. So it will be up to, like, I will just grab like, let's say here it should be okay, one image. We're gonna add one more item, and then I think, yeah, take one more. And I don't know, sometimes the drop down is not working properly, so better to go in that way. So but we can like enable the drop down also if you like. Okay, so now we have the product data, and for that we should be having after that the product intro, which I'm gonna keep the same of it. And after that, the description, it's just some of the lower empty data here which we are passing. Okay, and now we need to pass the product price. How much is that? 63, 10 is discount, so it will be a 63 value, and then it will go with the 10% discount. And also we can inject with the category. We can pass the category. You see from the drop down, we can now see all the category. We can categorize as a main product. And now we need to put the value. We can pass the 10 in stock, and all the product status, we will make it as hot, and also the product type, it will be, let's say, t-shirt, and publish. So now we're having a new product in our list by which we can generate the product. And you see the name and the price is right here. So we can grab another product, and you can simply grab the duplicate the item. So you can just duplicate and then rename, but I want to add a new one. As you see, if I just go, I cannot publish it right now because I need to fulfill a lot of others property. So I'm going to choose another one, which will be this one. Okay, and now as you see, if the field is mandatory, you cannot publish it. That's the way which the rules is actually working in this setup. So right now, as you see, I can just copy all of the properties from here. So right now, let's say I'm gonna copy this field, allow, and here what I'm gonna do, in that product image, I'm gonna just paste the field. So I have all the images here, right? And also I do one thing, I will add image before, so I can add this image for the main image, and I can delete this image right here, which is not required. And from here I can pass the intro. Let's just grab the intro. Okay, classic t-shirt. And after that, we also need to grab the description. And now we'll pass the price 55 with the 10 discount, 10%. So 55, and here it will be 10% discount. And after that, we will also pass the categories by which we will generate as a featured product stock. I'm gonna make a 5 stock, and also new item. And here it will be, let's say, it will also going to be a t-shirt, publish. So right now what we are having it, we are just getting the products, and there is the order, and I think the sale is not required. That one will not get it because we just need to have the orders by which we can showcase our order data. So right now, as you see, we have the product and we have the categories, so other layers. So now we can combine together and we can have our products down to fetch the product from there, and then we can just implement it here. So it's a pretty difficult task to combine those layers. So what I request you to capture everything the way it's supposed to be and then configure it. If you configure, after that, now we can just go and set up to fetch the data initially.